Do you dream of having the freedom to work from home with your babies and witness every adorable first without feeling torn between your career and motherhood? Welcome to the VA Mama Podcast, your weekly dose of inspiration and actionable tips to turn those work from home dreams into a reality. I'm your host, Fallon Michelle, and in 2021, I traded in my OT job for a VA business that I built right from my kitchen table. Forget the endless Google searches and information overload. The VA Mama Podcast is your roadmap to building a business that fits your motherhood journey, and I'm here to support you and cheer you on every step of the way. This isn't just about making money, it's about creating a life where you can be present for your babies while building something meaningful for yourself. Because Mama, you get to have it all. Today's episode is going to be all about getting VA clients. This is a topic that you have all been asking about, so I'm going to share how I landed my first virtual assistant client within 2 weeks of launching my business, and I'm going to give you some actionable tips that you can implement right away. First, I understood who my offer was for. Before you start going out there creating content and shouting your services from the rooftops, you have to figure out who you want to work with. It's kind of like having a friend's toddler over for a play date with your kids. You want to keep them entertained, but instead of just dumping a giant bin of random toys, wouldn't it be better if you picked out a few toys that they'd actually love? Like if you know they're obsessed with something like building blocks, you'll grab those. Or if you've seen them running around at home, playing sports with their older siblings, maybe you'll grab some toys that will keep them more active, like a ball. That's exactly why figuring out your ideal client is so important in your virtual assistant business. It's the same exact principle. When you market to everyone, it's like dumping that huge toy bin. It's overwhelming, first of all, and it's going to be ineffective. You end up shouting your services into the void, hoping that somebody hears you. But when you know who you want to work with, it's like picking that perfect toy, right? You understand their industry, their worries, the things that are keeping them up at night. You understand their biggest dreams and their goals. With all of that knowledge, you're able to craft a message that actually speaks directly to their heart. They're going to hear you because you're speaking directly to their struggles and offering a solution that helps them solve their unique problem. You need to know who your target audience is before you can do anything in your business. Before you start throwing things out, putting content up, talking about your business, you need to know who it is you're helping and what problem you're even solving. Otherwise, all of those things that you're throwing out aren't going to be reaching anybody. You need to be very targeted with your message to that one person so that they know you're speaking to them and they know that you are the solution to the problem that they have. I see this as a place where a lot of people are getting stuck when trying to start their virtual assistant business on their own. So that's why I offer 4 weeks of Voxer coaching, not just for figuring out who your ideal client is, but this is for you if you just want direct access to a coach, but can't squeeze in another scheduled Zoom call, or you're having burning questions that are popping up throughout the day as you're trying to build your business, and you want guidance to overcome those roadblocks and to help keep your momentum going, and you really just want support from someone who gets it. If this is you and you're interested in learning more about Voxer coaching and what that looks like, you can visit fallonmichelleva.com/VA coaching, and you can scroll down to find out more information and a link to get started. Right now, that is priced at $111 for the 4 weeks. This is Monday through Friday, so you have direct access to me to ask any questions. It really, really helps to have somebody in your corner when you're starting a business. So that's what I'm here to do. That way, when you get hung up on something and you feel like you've hit a roadblock or you've hit a wall, I can help you move past that so you can get your business going a lot faster. So another thing that I did to land my first client was I shared what I was doing. If you know me, you know I'm not exactly a shout it from the rooftops kind of person. I'm pretty quiet. But here's the thing. People can't work with you if they don't know you exist. So you need to let your network know that you've started a virtual assistant business. Think about it like catching up with a friend and talking about work, right? Isn't that how you normally connect when you see somebody? They're like, hey, how are you? How's work? What have you been up to? The same thing goes here. Just weave it into the conversation naturally like you would your regular 9-to-5 job. For some reason, when people start a business, all of a sudden it feels uncomfortable to talk about it, almost like you are being spammy and I think it comes back to those messages that we have all gotten on Facebook, right? From somebody who starts a business and is reaching out, asking you to buy something. That's not what we're doing here, okay? That's actually something that we really want to avoid, is those cold messages with people. You don't want to do that. You want to have this be a natural conversation that you're having. And again, like I said, you have conversations with people all the time who ask you how you've been, what you've been up to. And you could just naturally say, I've been great. Actually, I started a virtual assistant business and I'm super excited about it. This is what I've been doing. And the conversation is going to naturally flow that way. You don't have to promote your services. You don't have to ask them to be a client. You're just having a conversation. Maybe this person doesn't need your help. Maybe they don't know anybody who does. Or maybe this person has a friend who has a business who's been saying how they are drowning in work and they really, really need help, but they don't know where to go. Now this friend of yours can talk to their friend and be like, hey, my friend so-and-so just started a virtual assistant business. I can get you her information. She is working with businesses just like yours, and I think you guys would be an awesome fit. The more you talk to people about what you're doing, the more of this word of mouth referral system you can build, the more people know what you're doing. It also gives you some practice talking about your business and sharing your passions with other people. Just putting that out there into the world, I think, is so beneficial to you. And like I said, there can be that instant connection that you might not have expected. And this is exactly how I was able to get my very first client. I was terrified to put myself out there. I had seen other people putting themselves out there in a way that was spammy and made me uncomfortable with those direct messages, asking for you to buy things or posting and trying to recruit family members and friends all the time. And I didn't want to show up as that person. And that was something that was really hard for me to kind of work through and realize, okay, that's not me. That's not the intention that I have. That's not how I am running my business. That's not how I plan to run my business. But I was still worried about that. I was worried about the judgment, worried about rejection, and all of that stuff I'm sure you're feeling too. But guess what? Once I did it, once I put myself out there and started talking about my business, I found the people who wanted to work with me and who were excited to collaborate, and you just have to kind of put your blinders on and ignore the rest. There are always going to be people who judge you and who don't understand what you're doing, and that's more about their own stuff than anything you're doing. I think there's a lot of mindset stuff that we really have to work through when it comes to starting an online business especially, and putting yourself out there and talking about your business online, because we often feel like we might come across as salesy and all of that stuff, but that's not how it should be. And if you are doing your marketing correctly, that's not how it's going to be for you. Now, the thing that has really worked for me, and honestly where I've found most of my VA clients, is in Facebook communities. So here's why I love them. First, there's literally a community for everything these days. So finding your ideal client's hangout spot is super easy when you know how to do it. Second, they're free. You can reach a ton of potential clients without spending a dime. Third, it's a fantastic way to show off your expertise, to give people value. People in these groups are looking for answers, and if you can provide them with valuable insights, you can instantly become a trusted voice. It's also a great way to build relationships with potential clients and connect with other awesome women entrepreneurs too. And lastly, like we talked about, it's not your friends and family. You don't have to go cold messaging people and doing all of those uncomfortable marketing things that you see people doing. We don't want to do that, okay? Facebook communities are full of people who are looking for support, and you can be that person who comes in with value and shows them how you can solve their problems. I've actually created a free step-by-step guide packed with tips to make Facebook groups work for you. So if you want to grab a copy, you can get it over at fallonmichelleva.com/blog/05. So the last thing we're going to talk about here is how I optimize my social media profiles. As a VA, your social media channels are going to act like a storefront. Your ideal clients need to know in a heartbeat that they've landed in the right place and how you can help them. This is really important, and I'll give you an example of why and what this might look like in action. So let's say you joined a Facebook community and you responded to somebody's job opportunity. The first thing she sees is going to be your profile picture. Does it clearly depict you and your brand? Think about it. A VA for fitness coaches might have a photo with an energetic and sporty vibe, while a real estate VA might show a more professional demeanor. You want that profile picture to represent you and your brand, because that is often going to be the first thing that somebody sees, especially in a Facebook community when you're responding to somebody's comment. If your profile picture is of your dog or your cat, or a picture of you and your husband and your 10 kids on vacation, and you're running on the beach and they can't even see your face, that's not going to be enough to make her want to take that next step with you. So again, she's going to take a look at that little tiny profile picture with that comment. And if she thinks that you're the person who can solve her problem, she's probably going to come and visit your profile. So there's a few areas that are really important to optimize, especially with your Facebook profile. Instagram and LinkedIn, they're all going to be a little bit different. But when it comes to Facebook, you want to make sure your profile picture is optimized, your cover photo, your bio, and your intro. My profile photo is a headshot that I took in my office space, which I don't have a designated office in my house. I have an office space though with a desk, and I took this using my iPhone and a ring light. You don't have to go crazy here with professional photo shoots. You can do this with minimal money and minimal time spent right from your house. I use a ring light, but you can also just use natural lighting from your windows. You don't want to get hung up thinking that you need all of these things like a perfect office or professional branding photo shoot before you can get started. You can find a way to create a designated space in your home to start your business. I started my business at my kitchen table. Now I have a desk and an actual space in my house where I have my desk and all of my stuff set up. But when I started, I was just at my kitchen table. Okay, so my cover image right now is promoting my Facebook community because that is where I'm trying to filter my audience into. Again, if you are a VA for fitness coaches or photographers or realtors, your cover image is going to be a lot different in the way that it depicts you and your brand, okay? Everything should be on brand. It should all have your brand colors. It should feel like you. They should immediately be able to feel that vibe, to recognize it as your brand because it all matches. And your cover photo is a great way to get people to take an action. So again, my cover photo is getting people to take an action by joining my Facebook group. You could get people to take an action by downloading a freebie that you created. They could book a call with you, whatever it is that is your main lead magnet and where you are filtering your audience into. The cover photo is a great place to do that. And I also use my caption in the cover photo to put the link to my Facebook group. So when people click on the cover image, they can click the link and go right there. So that's just another little tip. So moving on to your bio is going to be prime real estate to explain who you help and how you make their lives easier. This is about your clients. It isn't about you. And instead of using generic phrases, you want to get specific, okay? So for example, you could say something like helping busy fitness coaches free up their time with social media management. That's so much more impactful than simply writing VA services. Somebody comes to your profile, they're a fitness coach, they see your bio, and they immediately know that you are the person that can help them. If they say VA services, it's kind of like dumping that big toy box and the child not even knowing where to begin. Are these toys for me? Whereas if you know that this child is obsessed with Bluey and he comes over to your house and you hand him a Bluey stuffy, he immediately knows this stuffy is for me to play with. She knows I like Bluey. You have a connection now, right? Now the child's probably going to like you. They're going to trust you. So I could go even deeper into this, but that's just a little glimpse into optimizing your Facebook profile so that when you start joining these Facebook communities and putting yourself out there and people come to look at your page, they can tell in an instant, because we only have seconds to make that first impression and to keep them on your page. They can tell who you are and how you can help. Okay, I hope you found so much value in this episode. Don't forget to grab my step-by-step guide to Facebook groups at fallonmichelleva.com/blog/05. I will see you on the next episode. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. If you loved this episode, come connect with me and our community inside the VA Mama Facebook group, or send me a DM on Instagram to let me know what you loved about this conversation. You can always find the links and resources from the show over at fallonmichelleva.com/blog. I'm so grateful for you, and I'll see you again on the next episode. Until then, have an amazing week, and don't forget to screenshot, share, and tag me in this episode over on your Instagram stories.